Hi, Randy Johnson here. Thank you for joining me for this series on the absolute essentials of faith. This week, we're talking about never-ending judgment for those who refuse to believe. Let's watch the video and find out what that's all about.
You and I can never make a perfect judgment. The only one who can make a perfect judgment is God Himself, because He is the only one who knows the beginning from the end. He is the only one that can see beneath the surface of what appears on the outside and know what's going on underneath the outward appearance, and that's in the depths of the heart. So righteous judgment belongs to God. And when we're talking about eternal judgment here this morning as being an elementary principle, we're talking about God's judgment, not man's judgment. You see, throughout history, the cry of humanity has been for righteous judgment. Notice how I said that. Throughout history, the cry of humanity has been for righteous judgment. Why righteous judgment? Because stronger people have oppressed weaker people and seem to have gotten away with it. You can back through human history and study different civilizations and different people groups, and you will find that most of the wars that have been fought through the millennia has been because one people was stronger than another group of people, and they didn't want those people to be taking their land or taking their resources, or they didn't want to have to do the menial labor that was a part of just everyday living. And since they were stronger, they would go oppress a weaker group of people and enslave them and make those people do the work that they didn't want to do. The stronger have always oppressed the weaker and seem to have gotten away with it. Richer people have oppressed poorer people and gotten away with it. What do we say today when somebody gets into trouble and they come from a wealthy family, and we look at the situation and they get off easy, they get off with a lighter sentence, or they get off without having to serve any sentence at all, and somebody else, is simply because they're born into the wrong circumstances and they don't have the right connections and they don't have the money, they get the same kind of situation, and they get a worser sentence, or they get punished, and the others seem to go free. And it's all based on money. We see movies made about that all the time. The richer oppressing the poorer and getting away with it, seeming to at least. Violent people who have oppressed peaceful people and gotten away with it. That's what's going on now with all this Antifa and everything else that's going on. You may not agree with what happened at Charlottesville the other day. I don't agree with it either. I don't believe in white supremacy. I don't believe in any of those things. But I do believe that we need to be able to have peaceful assemblies and express our views, even if they're stupid. And you know, and that's the way I look about it with white supremacy. It's stupid. But the point is, we have formed a nation that is based upon giving people as much freedom and liberty as possible, because that is what ensures and protects our liberty and our freedom. And the moment that we begin to go against those people's freedom, even though we may be diametrically opposed to what they believe, the minute we start going against their freedom to express themselves, we have put a knife to our own throat for somebody else to come and tell us that we can't express our opinion. I remember as a kid growing up, we had a couple of newspapers. We used to have morning and evening papers. Did they have that around here years and years ago? You would have the morning paper and then you'd have the evening paper. Well, we had the morning paper, we had the evening paper, and I think it was in the evening paper that they used to have a quote by Voltaire, who was, I don't even really know much about him anymore because I forgot all that history I studied. But I think he lived back in the 1800s or 1700s. And he was some kind of a philosopher. I think he was French. And he wrote this, and they put his quote at the top of the newspaper. He says, "I may disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about protecting people's freedom. But when you have these people making protests and getting violent and rioting and looting and tearing things apart, That's the same kind of injustice, it's just in a different direction. It's the same spirit. Violent people have oppressed peaceful people and gotten away with it. And you may say, well, you know, those people that were there at Charlotte, well, they're not peaceful people, they're white supremacists, and they had guns. Yeah, they did. But most of it was rhetoric.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you can have notifications of future videos. Also, be sure to leave some comments down below. God bless you. Have a good week.